Alright, this is the fucking fifth time I'm trying to record this video again. Mainly because I just kept losing track of what I want to say, but hello. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about this character, Reina Mishima. So as you click on this video, I'm not sure if you read the title, but I don't understand really what this character is about. So from the thing that I do understand though, I'm gonna tell you guys. So first of all, I think she is a very all-around character. She can do almost anything that a lot of other characters do. Being that's what I think being all around really means. So very good poking, very good punish, a very good launcher, a pretty good pressure game in electric, full for 2. The can 50-50 with L sweep here. Right, you can mix people up like that if you want. And yeah, pretty good defensive tools as well in these like counter hit stuff. So she can pretty much play in every part of like Tekken. She also has the specialist stuff, right? The random like things that you encounter when you play someone like Xiao Yu or whatever. She has that fucking specialist stuff, you know? Fucking bullshit. If you really want to. Now the other thing that I also have noticed playing her so far is she's actually a combination of every other Mishima character in a sense. So when I look at it, it's like she has sort of a Kazuya 50-50 vortex in this thing, right? Can mix it up with one of these. You can mix it up with a. You can mix 442 up and Hell Sweep in the neutral, right? But obviously the situation after is different compared to Kazuya. Kazuya will knock you down and then go into a 50-50 vortex. You know, is it a left split kick or is it a Hell Sweep, right? With her, she vortexes like this. Yeah, something like this. Something similar to it, right? She really wants to get into Sentai, the stance here, because that's where she's the most tricky to fight. I don't want to say advantageous because the thing about this stance is there is counterplay to it. But we'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, she can do some of the Kazuya stuff, and she can do some of the Heihachi stuff pretty good too. Like this, the counter hit shit. She has Heihachi's back 4, which is this, forward neutral 3. It's kind of similar in terms of property. Safe mid, long reaching, counter hit launcher. Same property. And almost similar frames too. But obviously these moves are kind of different in a way. Like back 4, it always comes out at 18, right? But hers can vary depending on how long the neutral is. Fastest is 18, but it can go slower depending on how you input the notation. She can do up 1, which is pretty good counter hit tool too. This is guaranteed. This is also guaranteed. She has this 4 for 3+4 counter hit launcher. It's a pretty cool combo there that you can do. Back 4 counter hit launcher. It is a high though, 3-2. This one's a good one because it's homing. Counter hit launch. And CD3, this is, I think, her best counter hit launcher. The electric version, of course, because it's safe. Yeah. That's her best counter hit launcher, I think. But then, of course, being a Mishima, having electric and a health sweep is a must. But she doesn't have Heihachi's counter hit health sweep though. She has it here. This is similar to Kazuya's old health sweep 4-4. But it's not that good if it's not counter hit, you know. Like +2, 16 damage. He does get 24 here. But not that good. And what else? So she can do the Heihachi stuff. Right, the other Heihachi stuff is punishment. 12 frame, 2-1, very good. Wall splat. Pretty big damage. Flash punch goes into a mix up. I don't think this is better than normal flash punch. You know, knocks down, or Heihachi is probably the best flash punch with wall splat. But the mix up is very annoying to deal with. So people will hate this. But you know, on paper, it's not really that good, considering you only guarantee 23 damage. What does Kazuya's do? Kazuya's can lead you into a very strong vortex. It's the same, 23. 67, yeah, 23. But lands right next to you and have access to the deadliest fucking 50-50 of all time. This or this. Which you kind of have to take, because if you don't, seal pedal, you're gonna take more damage, right? Reina doesn't really do that. I mean, this is not scary. Eating these. This is the only option that you're really gonna think about. Not getting hit by, but I don't know, like, how much is this? 22 damage? It's not that scary compared to the crazy mix-up that Kazuya can give you. And also, the last one is Devil Jin's. It's more of just the specialist stuff, like. So you know how Devil Jin in Tekken 8 is pretty much like a exclusively specialist character now? Not everyone can just pick him up and spam Hell Sweep or Up Forward 4 anymore, right? So like, he is kind of a specialist character now. And that's like the element from Devil Jin that they took and put into Reina. I think if you really want to make Reina stand out, you kind of have to play her as a specialist. And this is pretty evident from the high-level players I'm going to talk about. The two high-level players that played Reina. I'm going to talk about Ulsan and Yagami. And I'm going to talk about how different these two plays. Starting with how Ulsan plays. Now, Ulsan is more of a Tekken player first than anything. He plays more, you know, more about using these moves as a tool set that dictates a Tekken match. So when high-level players look at Tekken characters, they don't see these characters as a package, really. They mostly look at key moves that can help them win. Notably, picking a top tier character, for example, Dragunov, right? All of Dragunov's moves on paper is pretty much the best. You know, when you use these key moves, they give the least amount of risk with the highest amount of reward. Taking Dragunov's Corsical 4, for example, right? The fucking stupid kick that everyone sees now. It is so low risk. You know, if you just put out that move over and over again, like you can just kind of just do it over and over again and you're not really in trouble, right? That move gets blocked, you're -7. Dragunov is +7. He can keep playing the game and keep going at it. And that move being a mid, strong tracking, heat engager, and in heat is pretty much a launcher at that point. That is a very strong move, and that is how these Tekken pros sees these characters. Now, with Reina, I've listed some key moves here, at least 10 key moves. Now I'll explain to you why they are not really enough for high-level Tekken, and how these moves compares to someone like that's like top tier, right? Dragunov or Nina. Let's start with one jab. Her jab is pretty good. Look at the reach, right? Pretty strong reach for a jab. Kazuya's here is a lot more stubby. Look at that. It's a lot more stubby from Kazuya. Then again, Reina's hitbox is a little bit smaller than most characters. That combined with Kazuya's stubby jab, it hurts, right? It hurts. So her one jab is pretty strong. And of course, being a flash punch, this is a pretty spammable move, 1-1 jails. So if you block the first jab, you have to take the second one. Hit confirmable, of course, on hit. Reina's is a bit harder to hit confirm, I noticed. Because the window between the second jab and the third one is a lot less lenient than someone like Hayes. He actually has a really big window between the second and the third. But nonetheless, this is a very good jab. Has 1-2, 1-2-3. Is a very good jab string, because even though the third is -4, I mean -10, there's a follow-up, so it makes you like kind of question if you want to press or not. Not a counter hit launcher though from the 4, so it's not that scary, but it's still annoying, right? Generally you don't want to get hit at all. So pretty good jab string. Second move is down for 1. Very strong down for 1. And why is it strong, you ask? Well, note the reach. That's first. Second, of course, 13 frame. You know, strong mid checks. Hit pretty low. Look at the spark. It goes pretty low here. So any character that has like a high evasive stuff, you can sometimes evade like mids or whatever, there's a chance this can catch it. Pretty good down for 1. Has follow-ups, right? This is pretty good. Not as good as Hayes though, but not that it needs to be, because Heihashi's down for 1 is -5. Hers is -3, which means you can do stuff like down for 1 into sidestep, electric. I've catched some people with those. Very strong. You can just loop down for 1 because people really don't want to press into it. Into the follow-ups, that is. Down for 1-2. Heat engager. Big damage, 28. Pretty strong, right? Mid. -14 though. No, it's not the craziest, you know. -14 doesn't make it really bad, but again, it is a punishable move, so it's not spammable. And what else? can transition to Sentai. I think this is part of like what makes it way better. Not saying that it is necessarily good because you are -3 even in the transition, so you can always get jabbed out of any option. So your best option from here is Power Crush, I guess. But again, you really have to condition your opponent first before you can start doing stuff like that for it to like be effective, right? So in general, it is good down for one. Next is Electric, of course. No mentioning, one of the best move in Tekken. The only downside is it's hard to use, mainly because of execution. Like in a tournament, you don't want to think of misinputting moves, right? That's why people play Dragunov or Nina, because it's a lot less chance, a lot less likely for you to misinput stuff. Unless your controller breaks, of course, and yeah, I guess that's not even a character problem at that point. But Electric, very good. You see Ulsan pop this out a lot in the neutral. And then, of course, the biggest mid that she has, Raiden, just go for it too. Guarantees hit engagement on hit. +2 on block, which frame traps this. Frame traps the heat engager option. You can treat it with a jab, which I guess is not bad. But again, is a high, so it's duckable. And I think also this move is what people think makes Reina brain dead. This move, well, you think it's brain dead. Now that I've been trying to reach higher ranks, you know, I found that Tekken God players in quick match, they have very much show how this move is a non-issue anymore. There's a lot of counterplay of this now, especially with the nerf to the tracking. So best thing to do is sidestep this. If you don't sidestep this first, then the options afterward is gonna hurt. But then again, jabs beat most of her options here. It will trade with the Sentai 3. This will not hit. Sentai 2 will not hit. Sentai 1+2 will not hit. Sentai 1 will armor it, but you can block afterwards. Sentai 4. I think this is character dependent. But I'm pretty sure some characters that doesn't connect with Sen 4. But the only option you don't beat is the low. But honestly, it's not that bad, considering it's only 22 damage. But every other option, she loses. Look at that. Jabs with a 3. Wait, treats with a 3. Yeah, like jabbing there beats most of our option. So, you know, at the end of the day, after this is figured out, people finally understand that this stance is not that scary. What you want to look out for is here. This stance from Flash Punch. Now it's a real mix-up. not a 50-50, but a mix-up nonetheless. But yeah, that's like Raiden in general, like one of the best pressure tools in their game, I think. Again, there is clear counterplay now from this move. Not saying that this move is bad now, it's just that it's less scary now that people know how to fucking play against it. But again, these are like the type of moves that's very spammable, right? This is what makes key moves good, is that how much risk do I take doing these moves over and over again? Basically. This is what key moves are, and this is what Tekken pros look for. And continuing a little bit more about her key moves. We got Hell Sweep, a key low. Nothing more to be explained. +6 if you go into a stance. -1 if you don't. You want to go into stance, obviously, because you can mix it up with either another Hell Sweep or a mid. You even do that if you want. This is a pseudo Vortex. Again, not really scary as Kazuya's, you know, but she can do it if she wants to. So it is like a pseudo Vortex. It's annoying to deal with, but realistically, it shouldn't be scary to get hit by any of these. I mean, you don't want to get hit by a Hell Sweep at all, right? But if you get hit by one, it's not the end of the world. And then another key mid that I think is very good is God Kick. Again, you have to land the electric version because the non-electric is punishable at -13. That makes it really bad. You pretty much die. But yeah, like, if you get electric version, it is a safe counter hit mid. You know? And although it is steppable, it tracks pretty well to one side. I don't remember which one, but it does track pretty well. And the range too is pretty good. Yeah, look at that. It's a pretty good range. And it hits very low too, so like if Ling does an AOP move or whatever, it will hit. So that is another key mid that is very good to use. The only downside is that it's very hard to do, again, like electric. If you misinput this, so if you get the non-electric version, no, bit of a bummer. But yeah, if you misinput it, if you do down 3, for example, you get the stance thing, which if you're not used to, you're not gonna cancel it in time and get hit, right? It sucks to get a misinput like this, and then yeah, sometimes you just get this empty wave dash. Just do this, and then you isn't really sure what's happening. It sucks if it happens, but that's the only downside of this move is that to use it, to have it out there as fast as possible takes a lot from the pilot. And then a few other moves that could be mentioned. Actually, one last key move that is important is back to homing mids, safe on block. Homing moves are always important. So this is very good. Very good small mid poke. And then a few others is down back 4. It's not a very good low on its own, but what makes it good is the follow-up that it has. So if people block down back 4 here, you know, they kind of have to respect it, because if not, the second will hit, knocks you down, wall splat at the wall. So it makes people guess a bit on whether to punish or not. And then forward 4. This is a chunky mid. Counter hit, knockdown. Knockdown, counter hit. Forces crouch. +2 on block. And of course, guarantees follow up on crouching opponent. Very good. It's very strong, especially at the wall. This is the wall pressure move, obviously. This is what you want to do with her. But that's like pretty much all of her key moves. Now, any other moves that isn't mentioned is pretty much a moves that is used by like reina mains and reina specialists, right? Now the thing is, you can use just these 10 moves that I listed and do pretty well, but it's gonna take a lot from you as a pilot. Like, you basically have to be really good at Tekken to only use 10 moves from Reina. She is a specialist character. In a way that Tekken 8 Daojin is. So you have to know like setups, you have to know parry flowcharts, right? And that is the kind of thing that makes her really pop. And this is very evident when you compare the way Ulsan plays and the way Yagami plays. Yagami, being more of a specialist Reina player, uses a lot of different moves and like a lot of things that you don't really see from Ulsan, like parries, for example. Like, that's one of the things that Yagami does a lot. The other thing is usage of these counter hit moves, like forward neutral 3. Ulsan would not really use this, like spam this a lot, because he would rather just spam forward 2. It's better, you know, you don't lose your turn. Doing this loses your turn, and he doesn't want that, right? In a Tekken match, you kind of always want to be in control of who gets suppressed first. So doing this gives a lot of control. You know, spamming electrics, spamming forward 4 is a lot of control. And that's how like Ulsan really plays. That's the way Ulsan plays Reina, with these 10 key moves that I listed. But again, to only use 10 moves as Reina, it's just, you have to be a good player, right? Because these moves alone, like, they are good on their own, but when you fight someone like Dragunov or Nina, like if you want to fight top tiers, you kind of have to use everything that Reina has. You can't just use 10 moves, because the problem with her key moves is that there is a lot of counterplay to it. Compared to a top tier character like Dragunov that has like 5 moves, but they are pretty much perfect. Because when you do them, you don't have to face any consequences, right? That's the kind of shit that I'm trying to like share with you guys here. So the thing that I don't understand is, you know, being a low level player, you know, new to the game, trying to get better. I wonder like which part should I focus on first? Like, should I play a lot more like Ulsan first, understand these key moves, these key tools, get better at it, and then focus on the specialist stuff? Or is it the other way around, right? That is like the part that I don't really understand about this character. With it being very all round, keeping track of like 10 moves is already hard. because again, I play like a 5 move character like Brian. You really don't need a lot of moves with Brian to win, because one counter hit gives a lot, right? A lot of damage. You can kill, like, Brian's a 2-touch character. You can just counter hit twice and you're pretty much dead. Reina doesn't really do that. You can play a counter hit oriented character with Reina, but the frames, or like the tools she has, it doesn't really complements that type of play style. With a good down for one like this and an electric and a pretty chunky low like a hell sweep, again, not trying to say like this hell sweep is like good compared to like someone like Kazuya or whatever, but you know, having these stances and stuff, like you want to play poke heavy and stuff like that. So doing a counter hit oriented playstyle with this character, it's not, it doesn't fully utilize her move list. Which is why I think you kind of have to lean into a more specialist approach with parries and like stance, specific stance setup, right? Like this stuff, right? This is something that Yagami would do, like specialist stuff like this. And yeah, it's like I just don't know which one. Like, should I focus on 10 moves first, or should I focus on every move and try and make it work? And that's like the part that I don't get with this character. And yeah, I think I kind of just want to ask that to like other Reina players out there. Like, how exactly do you guys play here? Do you guys do the specialist stuff? Or do you guys only do 10 moves like Full Sun would? And like how much of that is having very good fundamentals, and how much of that is Reina's moves being very good, you know? Because again, in my opinion, all of these moves, they're just good. They're not great. And the great doesn't equal easy. I mean, good doesn't equal easy. Great usually does, you know? And yeah, that's the one thing that I don't really get how to approach her in my current level of play. But yeah, that's something interesting find I find out about this character, and I just kind of want to share it because I thought it was interesting.